And since May, the Council's financial position seems to have deteriorated at extraordinary speed. The external auditors, as we've heard, have issued a statutory recommendation, the most serious warning in local government. And we've heard it now that it was rare, but now it's common. On page 22 of the auditor's report, members will see the statutory recommendation saying, urgently addressing its increasing DSG, begin to reduce the deficit over time. This isn't routine. Statutory recommendations are used when auditors believe a council has lost control of its finances. On page 21, the auditors state that the DSG deficit has exploded. But the auditors also say the council lacks grip, has no reserves to cover this deficit if the statutory ends. They're demanding, in a sense, the impossible without government reform of SEND or EHCP legislation. My question, I suppose, to the officers concerned and the cabinet member, how do you do it? What would be the impact on the residents of Worcestershire to put this right? This could mean a potential council tax rise for the residents of Worcestershire, to correct this, of 25%. 25%, with it still accelerating in future years. Now, we all got the election propaganda in May. The leaflets said, more waste, reduce waste, cut taxes. But what we've seen so far this year is more waste, more overspending, and plans that now could see our residents face 25% council tax rises. Not the 10% that has been denied, but 25%. Now, that wasn't inherited. That's happening now. The auditors confirm on page 24 the council is not identifying and delivering savings in line with requirements. And again on page 21, a lack of grip on containing spend. Senior leadership team were instructed to find savings, it said, in 24-25. They didn't. So where's the management accountability? Reform solution? Now I understand the situation that you're in. Cancel capital projects used by families, children and the residents of Worcestershire. On page 7 of the finance update, the Chief Financial Officer advises deprogramming from the capital programme to reduce revenue costs. That means cancelling school expansions, road safety schemes, community improvements. These aren't waste. Cutting capital investment because you can't control revenue spending is financially illiterate. Yet these capital cuts produce huge damaging impact to residents, don't even cover 10% of the overspend on adults and children in the first 6 months of the year. We're preparing, I can see it, for the largest council tax rise in Worcestershire's history. The budget paper models assumptions including up to 10% council tax increases, and I know they've been denied, but you promised you'd reduce waste and cut taxes. So, to conclude, we will accept the statutory recommendation as a group, because legally we really have to. But let's reflect. The overspend in adults and children is out of control. The senior management have allowed departments to spend beyond their budget without effective controls. Capital schemes serving children and families are being cancelled to plug revenue holes at nowhere near the level they're needed. And the DSG statutory instruction is mathematically impossible without government intervention. We face runaway overspending, cancelled projects, and the biggest council tax rise this council's ever seen.
Ken, mention, I know that I think most of the thrust of what you were saying was aimed at management. You mentioned that statutory recommendations are now common. I think that's not